Yeah, so let's dive straight into it. Midnight in Wiami. When I saw the first time the concept about Midnight in Wiami, as someone who has pulled many days and weeks in MMOs during the night, having the night vibe very present, I was very excited. It's obviously a big vision, bringing the wheels to life in this inaugural experience, shipping in December. Where are we currently standing, Dennis? And yeah, what is your overall feeling about where this is going and what we're about to release in December?
For sure. So we started off by making sure that we actually had a playable, like from the start. We like week one, day one, focused on laying out the track in the city where we needed it, and we got the whole art team and kind of said, okay, it's in Little Meow, right in the center. And we said we want to start an iconic location. So boom, the cafe is there. And then we sat together and plotted out a course through the city that we thought would be really cool, include some fun gameplay, and really be something that would be really resonate with people. But the key there is we started day one with kind of a playable track where we lined it out and we knew exactly the track that we were doing. So we've never lost that vibe of that's playable from the beginning of the milestone. So it's playable. It's really fun. We've had super big upgrades again, like I said, on the cars. We're getting some of these procedural systems in. So things are going well. I mean, some of the struggles we're going to have is getting to the level of polish that we expect. We expect absolutely incredible graphics, for Metaverse, for an MMO, for really any game. So, but we're starting with something that's always playable, making sure it's fun, and then we're going to put as much polish and as much art as we can into it. I think that's been a little bit of a departure from when you guys saw the Boulevard experience, where we kind of had to change it around a couple times. So I think overall, it's a healthier way to work. It probably contributed to a little bit more sleep at night, like Neil said, although not too much of that. We always like to work pretty hard over here. But I think we're taking this approach, and I think it's going to pay off for us.
Yeah, and to be clear, this is really an idea that came from the team in terms of wanting to do the night vibe, and I was, the team shared that with me, and I thought it was a great idea. There are some risks because we haven't showed. So I think it is really coming together. There are some risks in that the lighting is a lot different, obviously, and lighting and how light reflects off materials and assets is what creates a lot of the feeling of realism. I'd say lighting is, at least from my perspective, one of the most important things. So by not having a sun and not having the reflectivity of the sun and these types of things, we took a little bit of a risk there, but I think that it's going to be pretty epic. It's starting to come together. We also kind of when you start a game like this, you're much more focused on what it's going to like. You're focused on kind of two things, like what it's going to look like in the world and the lore, and obviously gameplay. And so I think now what we've done is we have a pretty good sense of where we want to get it visually, but we've started to build in I think a more sustainable way. And I think in the one of the last devlogs we presented this idea of you're kind of battling fidelity, performance, and scale. Like that's what I was calling the metaverse trilemma. And there's always trade-offs between those things. And I think that a lot of the challenges that we've had is, and I think this is something like all metaverses will face. And I think, despite it being a challenge, I think it's one of our biggest strengths is that we've gone through a lot of difficulties trying to figure out how to actually build the world properly and how to actually build the world scalably. So just to kind of back up, like if you have something that looks amazing, but it doesn't run a good frame rate, or like you can build like maximum, one neighborhood, and we're not going to be able to get to the scale we want. In some cases, you may need to redo everything or rethink everything from the ground up. And so a lot of the last year was refining our procedural systems, refining the way that we build, and we don't have it 100% figured out yet, but we're very close, and we're way closer than we were previously. So I think we've kind of shifted our focus where we're more concerned, like, is what we're building going to be able to scale? Are we going to be able to build on top of it? And are we going to be able to sort of iteratively improve the world? And I think that will become a huge advantage. We talked about that a lot in the last devlog in terms of how we're actually building the game compared to a traditional studio. So that's kind of the thing I'm super excited about right now, is actually just building the world properly and scalably, because I know we can get it looking amazing. It might not look as Midnight in Wiami might not look as good as we want it to, but it's only as long as it's built correctly. That's just like another quarter to kind of get the polish to where we'd want to get it. So I think we're kind of 100% where we need to be. The gameplay, real quick, the gameplay, like what Dennis said in terms of the driving, and Marcus and Aram and the team have done a great job on this, is the driving is just completely not even on the same level. Like, it's actually starting to get really fun to play. So that's really exciting, because when you start to have that experience, you start to notice the graphics a lot less because the gameplay engages you. And then we have done a lot on the server infrastructure side as well, just in terms of being able to scale up multiplayer and all those types of things. So it's really exciting to see those more production level things come online.
Yeah, speaking about, you talked a little about the assets. We're also like, we struggle a lot of times with the city, with our procedural assets versus our manual. And what's starting to come is we're starting to create procedural things that are working so well that it's becoming less and less of a thing. So I do think our asset pipeline and our world building pipeline is, I don't think it'll ever be done, because I think the technology will keep going forward and we'll have to play catch up. But I feel like we're on a much more stable footing on it. And, you guys saw in the devlog, it's just a much more healthy way of approaching it. And it's going to, our frame rate's up. That's like another really big thing. And that's, again, a credit to the team. Frame rate's up. Everything is looking pretty good there. It's just really, the nighttime we had to, not that we had to talk Neo into it, but he's like, you guys sure you want to do that? But like, I think it is the right call. It's a challenge for the team. And, we want to show something a little bit different, and we want to challenge ourselves and stretch ourselves, and get the guys playing around with lighting, get the guys playing around with VFX, and really, take it to that next level. But I do think we're on a really good base now with how we're developing.